All right, in this demo, I'm going to show you how the Teams adoption bot can help you with some of the basic questions your end users might have around Microsoft Teams and how to use it. So what I have here is my subject matter experts. This can be a team of subject matter experts. So I have here my adoption team with a general tab. And what you see here is all the questions, all the expert related questions that a user might have will actually appear here. From a user perspective, what we have available is here is an app called the Team Adoption. Let me retrieve that real quick. So you see here this app, or they can also just have a conversation. So you see here the Teams bot, and really, this is just a conversation bot where I can ask specific questions. Like, for example, how do I schedule a Teams meeting? And this will actually pull a knowledge base behind the scenes that you can control. And so what you see here is now a full step-by-step guide on how to schedule a meeting in Teams, right? The next one that I can do is, for example, now that I know how to schedule a meeting, how can I record a meeting? There we go. You see here that we have the same thing, right? I can also add specific links. So this links to a support article of Microsoft Teams, so you're in full control of that. Let's just assume that the information that you have here, right, either the bot does not know how to respond or the end user actually says, no, I want some more in-depth explanation of how I need to do it. So they can now say ask an expert. So now we're going to elevate this conversation from a artificial bot conversation into a human interaction. So you see immediately the description is already here. So I can say I need some hands-on training for meetings and ask an expert. There we go. And now what is actually happening is a little ticket is created behind the scenes. And like I showed you, that ticket here now is a part of the subject matter experts team. Now, anybody who is a member of this team can now change the status and say, okay, assign this to me, so I'm going to handle this. They can start directly a conversation with Megan, right? And say, hey, and you see that the topic is already filled in. How can I help? Right? And just imagine that this is the matter of a question that was not in the Q&A, in the FAQ or the knowledge base, whatever you want to call it. Once this is answered, now the subject matter expert can actually add this to the Q&A maker or to the knowledge base, whatever you want to call it, and actually increase the knowledge of the bot. So the next time that somebody asks this, you can actually don't have to respond to this manually, right? So that is an additional step that you can do, right? So for Megan, who started this ticket, sees now, okay, this was assigned, right? And now she knows somebody's going to pick it up and help me with this specific message. And you see here that I have already the response that I needed directly from the administrators. So I know that I have now my answer and we can continue having this conversation. Now, from an administrator perspective or from a subject matter expert perspective, what are some additional stuff that you can do? So you see here that the ticket is here, right? I can see what is the article. Now I can see, okay, this is what actually is in the knowledge base. Is this enough? Are there things that I need to add? If there's stuff that you need to add, you can go to the Q&A maker where the knowledge base lives and update wherever is necessary, right? All right, you're going to see here that we also have the adoption bot as a message extension. And so you can actually use this now directly to retrieve the recent tickets. So these are the twos that I have, the ones that are unassigned, the ones that are assigned. And so here you see the two that are assigned to me. And I can actually, right, immediately have this information available. Assume that I want some feedback on this from one of the other experts. So I can actually say here at team, there we go. Does anybody know the answer to this question? Before I go back to the customer or to the end user and say, this is what you want to do, right? And I can go to the original thread, right? And so now you see here, it jumps immediately to where the original ticket was created. Yeah, so this is very powerful because it takes all the automated knowledge from a Q&A bot, from a conversation bot, allowing people to ask questions without having to talk to a subject matter or a human subject matter expert. They can just refer to whatever the bot is telling them. But with the additional feature that when a bot does not know the answer, they can choose or request to get additional human contact, human interaction to talk about a specific problem. So this is something that works is very powerful. This is something that is very easy to use for end users, and they have the centralized point of contact for any type of questions, in this case around Microsoft Teams adoption. You can implement this for any type of questions and feedback and subject matter expert related topics. This deploys on Azure. The deployment should not take more than about 2 hours when you follow the deployment guides that we have available on GitHub. And so this is something, in our opinion, that works very, very well, that can help you a lot with those initial questions you might have when you do a Skype for Business to Teams migration, when you just start out with Teams, or when you start seeing adoption and you want additional help with those initial questions.